Hi, this is part 2 of how to do objection management. In this video, we're going to go over how to handle when a client is working with a different realtor. So the case scenario is very simple. You've already met the client or you've just talked to them and you realize that they're actually working with a different realtor. And the first thing we're going to do during this video is to understand why are the 8 clients work with a different realtor. And one of the things that is important to understand is that probably every single client that you will ever meet will work with a different realtor at the same time. We're going to be understanding why, and then we're going to go over 3 case scenario that is a typical case and how to be able to handle them. The first part that we're going to see is when the realtor that they're working with is not doing his job properly and he's not attending to the client properly, which is one of the most common scenarios. The second one is when they're not able to find the right property. And the last one, which happens also, is when the realtor is actually part of the family or a very close friend and how to handle the situation. So first and foremost, we need to understand why are they working with several realtors. So from the point of view of the client, and when you sit in their shoes, everybody is a realtor. Particularly in Miami, there is 40,000 realtors. And it's very difficult to understand who is part-time, who is extremely competent, who will be able to find the right property for them. And on top of that, working with several realtors has no negative effect, has no cost to it. So basically, every client is hedging their bets. It is a logical thing to do for the clients, which is why they do it. Now, it's very important to understand that they're not trying to do this to be disrespectful. They're not trying to do this because they want to be mean. They just simply are hedging their bet. They only have one mission, which is finding their new home. So the first thing first, if you discover that your client has been working with another realtor, do not get angry. As soon as you get angry, as soon as you're being disrespectful or you feel hurt and you pass it along to the client will basically back out and will no longer be your client. So this is something that is normal for the client to do. It is, of course, we wish it would be different. Of course, we wish it were exclusive to us, but it is normal that they don't want to. The real key to it is how to be competitive and how to actually show that you're able to find a home and provide a better service. So right now, we're going to be looking at the first case scenario, which is what to do when the other realtor is not doing their job. So the first part of this is to understand what is happening. You have met this client now and they're interested in seeing a property with you despite the fact that they have another realtor. So one of the key things to understand is why are they reaching out to you? Why are they doing why are they on the website on Home 61, or why are they looking to do the job themselves? This typically is a very big indicator that they're not satisfied with the work of the realtor. And we have seen several examples of this. For example, the other realtor works part-time and therefore cannot show the properties whenever the client is available. Sometimes the other realtor simply don't have the time, is not ready to do the work, and so the client himself is being proactive in trying to help themselves or sometimes even help the realtor. This is clearly an opportunity for you to become competitive and for you to shine. You do not have to go and dismiss or dish the other realtor. You just simply have to show your differentiator, which is, I am full-time. If you were to be working with somebody, I think you really should work with somebody who's full-time, who knows their job, who will be there for you. By showing, for example, that you're available on short notice is a very big differentiator, that you have a quick turnaround, that you're able to deliver on the promise, and that you're able to be an added value is absolutely key. In our market in South Florida, there is a lot of part-timers. There is a lot of people who have done between 0 and 3 transactions. If you're a professional in real estate, you should have done more than this. And if you're not there yet, but you're working with it, play to your benefit. If you've done a lot of transaction, let them know. If you're able to help and you have a lot of a quick turnaround, even if you haven't done a lot of transaction yet, let them know, show that you are everything that they were looking for, that you're going to be able to solve their problem. The simple key of understanding what your client is looking for and why they're not satisfied with their current realtor is simply by asking, why are they currently doing things by themselves? And you have to be polite, of course, about it. You have to be helpful about it, but they will give you the keys. And whatever they say that they're dissatisfied, be the opposite. Be the person that's here. Be the person that's helpful. And this is the best way on how to deal when the client is working with a realtor that is not fulfilling his duty or is not satisfying the client. This is a clear opportunity for you to step in and show that you're the real deal. For the second part is what to do when they are working with a different realtor, but they have been unable to find the right property. So this is actually very common. Typically, realtors ask a series of questions to try to qualify and try to filter which house the client wants. However, this has a big flaw because it doesn't really quite understand the purpose of the client. As we have seen in our previous videos on how to manage online leads, we need to understand the why of the client. And you can find a link of the video in the description below. Once you're able to understand the true purpose of the client, now you're able to become an added value. You no longer become a search filter in a search bar on a website, but you can actually guide them into finding the house that they actually need. And by really understanding the purpose of the client and understanding their motivation better than any other agent, you will be able to win the client over. If the client feels that you are the right person who understands them, who understands their need, and will be able to solve their key purpose, which is finding a new home, they will stick with you through thick and thin. So this is very, very key and very, very important. So understanding the true purpose of the client, rather than trying to get them to filter out the property or to tell you what they want, you need to understand their purpose and you need to tell them what would be best for their project and for what they want to achieve. And the third case scenario is actually when the client is working with a realtor that is either a very close friend or part of their family or somebody they feel obligated to. And this is like a case scenario from last week where the client was working in Virginia selling his home with a realtor agency, and they have a branch down here in Miami, and they felt obligated to work with the same agency. And so this is, of course, a much more difficult situation, but you can still actually participate. Very often, whenever you have a client that's working with their family members, the family member is not very well versed into real estate. They really didn't have a career in it. They just happened to have a license. Or in the case of scenario of last week, they had an agency up north, but the person was looking all the way down in Homestead. So we're not really specialists in the industry. So one of the great things you can say is that you're going to collaborate with them. You're going to be able to, of course, give them a referral fee, but you're going to be able to help them out in ways that their family member or the person they feel obligated to will not be able to do. So of course you will be doing the work, and the other person might get 25%. However, you will be able to win the trust of the client. Not only will you be making the other 75 for it, but further, instead of 0 if you don't get the client. But on top of that, this is going to be a client for life because they will suddenly have the ability to compare the quality of your work versus the quality of the work of somebody while they felt obligated to, was not necessarily a professional in the industry. And with those 3 case scenarios, you should now feel more comfortable on how to be competitive and how to work with a client when you discover that they have been working with several realtors. Thank you very much for your time and happy closings.